We must start from the beginning of our lives. We must remember the details, the all important details of our lives. It's important because then we can be able to begin to see the end of the road, because the beginning shall look like the end, and a new story shall arise and take over. We have been living under the disillusion that we are going to get out of the mess that we are in. But the question is how? The question is to collapse the American dream. There are so many countries around the world that looks up to us, that role model themselves as us. There are countries that have major power, but they are not allowed to use their power to give their children and their children the possibility of a better future, a brighter future. We have done what Rome has done. After the length of Rome was long, we're only 200 and some odd years of existence. The fall of the American dream can be told by the tears in the eyes of the people, by the thousands and thousands of prayers that are prayed every single night, to the homeless, to the loveless, to the loneliness, to the motherless and fatherless. They had a stake in the American dream, and somehow the American dream caused them to fall. Somehow the American dream is not good enough for a child growing up in an impoverished neighborhood. Somehow the American dream is not possible for those who have been abused, those who have been taken advantage of, those who need more than just words. They need action. The 47% of the country that's on food stamps, they need help. Those who have been searching for jobs for years and still have not found a job yet, they need action now. Now you may say, what does this have to do with spirituality? It has a lot to do with spirituality. Because our brothers must be able to have a place where they can lay on their shoulder and cry and let their burdens go free. They must have someone willing to comfort them. They must have somebody willing to stand by them. We don't have a lot. Most of us is living check to check. Most of us is living barely at the minimal rate of hanging on. But it is our jobs as believers in the Alpha and the Omega, the Master, the Teacher, the Father, to do something about this situation. To give what little we have to allow someone else to have hope that one day they will be able to stand back on their 2 feet and fight back. This is about the enemy believing that we are weak. The fall of the American dream is reality. For the beginning, there was no American dream. It was an illusion. It was a way to build up a country that no other country can go to war with because their people are here. Attacking America means that you are literally killing those who belong to your country. Yes, we are the most powerful country there is in the world. But our military is stretched thin. Our government is in disarray. Social society is in decay. Faith is at an all-time low. Belief is at an all-time low. Self-esteem in oneself is at an all-time low. And we know what happens when this occurs, because we lived through it in the 70s. When the troops came home from Vietnam all messed up, doing drugs and drinking and beating on women and raping, the system in effect turned their backs on them, which made the 80s even worse than the 70s, because the 80s was the rise of the drug dealers. It was a rise of gang banging shooting. It was a rise of ducking from bullets. And I know this because I personally had to go through this. Crime rates were through the roof. Reagan raised taxes 18 times to try to course correct his mistakes. But we don't want to talk about politics because we don't think politics has anything to do with our life. Whether you're on food stamps, living check by check, whether you are trying to be responsible, whether you have a home, these things are being debated right now. Should you get a credit for being a homeowner? Should your wages still be at $7.25? Should you get a child tax credit? How many ways can they screw us before we begin to say that we are a nation of God and we are ruled by Him? His authority is our authority. That we don't believe in the false God that is bringing in so much chaos and darkness through the wilderness, tearing us apart from our families, making us feel that we are unwanted and unneeded. Sowing discord between a husband and wife, between a father and son, between a mother and daughter, because this goes deep. When you have no job to supply food on your table, this cuts deep into the moral fabric of our lives. When families are living off of unemployment, knowing that soon that unemployment will end, they keep praying. They keep believing that something will save them, that somehow there is a way. But as long as these companies sit on trillions and trillions of dollars and refuse to hire, the American dream will continue to fall. The American dream will never live up to the illusion that it was that drew so many here, that you can come and live and be able to do better than what you were doing in your own country. Those who believe that they are safe with their Social Security and disability does not realize that they're trying to now shortchange you. so that your cost of living rises and your check will not rise with the cost of living. We have been fortunate over the 200 and some odd years that we have been a country. Through the blood that we have put on the flags from slavery, from killing the Indians, from killing the Mexicans, from conquering our own independence. We once again begin to put blood on the flag. When we tell the people that you are on your own. When the safety net does not save you from the fall of grace that you are falling from. When the communities no longer reach out and have programs to be able to help others be self-sufficient. There are billions of dollars that the churches rake in, and yet they do not weigh in on the poverty. They do not weigh in on the homelessness. They do not weigh in on the community that is falling apart because it has nothing. The most dangerous thing is for a man to have nothing and idle hands, because he will reap destruction. He becomes desperate because he must put food on the table. He becomes sick in his mind and in his soul and in his heart. See, we are a country that has already been falling apart from a long time ago. We sweep rapes and child molestation underneath the rug. We sweep the motherless and the fatherless underneath the rug. We sweep the poor and the homeless underneath the rug, so that we may be able not to see the eyesores of a falling empire, so that we can continue to dream an American dream and say, well, what am I going to buy next? What am I going to do at the club this weekend? How am I going to respond to these situations? We've created outlets and illusions in our minds for us to be able to hide. And I say, enough. Enough with the illusions. It's time to look at reality. The earth is going through its birth pain. You've seen earthquakes all over the world in the last few years. You have seen volcanoes erupt in the last few years. You have seen the drought. You have seen the floods. You have seen the hurricanes. The warning couldn't be stronger that it's time to get our act right, because we are beginning to fall not into an American dream, but into an American nightmare. Every civilization that has ever existed on this planet has failed, because once you try to put a leader, an illegitimate leader, in charge, corruptions go up, taxes go up, the expansion of the military continues. They thirst for more and more and more, and there are bloodshed for the things that we want. But the people doesn't want these things. The people are content with their lives as it is. It is our government that seeks to gain a foothold position while trying to balance the sociological issues of our time. Many of us won't go to a therapist, although our life is traumatic enough that warrants us to go. We will not go. We won't go to a counselor. We won't allow our kids to go to a counselor. We won't let our kids speak the truth. But any man whose eyes is open and ears is clear can see that there is pain among the people, that there is division amongst the people. There are those who continue to believe that all we have to do is make it around the corner, that everything is fine just because the Dow is going up. Everything is on the up and up. We're starting to gain jobs, so that is okay. We're getting through. It's just taking a little bit of a long time to get through. But guess what? The Fed is ready to raise the interest rates. The Fed is ready to stop printing money as it has been out of thin air. When we have the ignorance of the American people who don't even understand that the financial reserves is not part of the federal government, yet they use their power to raise interest rates so you pay more for your house, you pay more for your car, you pay more for borrowing credit and loans. Student loans are going through the roof now by 6.8%. Our students can't handle this, and not even their parents. This is the fall of the American dream. The fall of the last empire. The impact will hit around the world like a tsunami. When we come crashing down, the government's doing nothing but propping itself up with invisible money, racking up debts they say you owe, that you must pay a percentage of. The cost of the debt ratio per the people of America, the 300 million Americans, is now at $40,000 and climbing. That is your share of the debt. Yet we want to fund new projects. Yet we want to do new things. Soon it's going to be too late to rescue the dying empire, the mammoth beast that controls the rest of the world. We have few options left. But I say with the rise of suicide and the rise of murders and the rise of rapes and the rise of child molestation and abuse, with the rise of the drug dealers selling to any and everybody, the fall of the American dream will hurt you and the souls of our people.